Oh my god. First episode back, first Wreck Bike Rebuild episode back, and we gonna drop the damn camera. Jesus. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of Wreck Bike Rebuild, the first episode of Wreck Bike Rebuild in 2018. So we've had a long break, we've had the new year, we had Merry Christmas. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic holiday season, and hopefully 2018 is going really dope for you. I know, a lot of you guys have missed Wreck Bike Rebuild. You know what? I personally have missed Wreck Bike Rebuild. If you're wondering why I look absolutely filthy, it's because Brian's not here yet. We still got a lot of work to do on the ZX-10, but Brian's not here yet, and one of the things that annoyed me that I wanted to do over radio silence was clean that area. Look at this area. Do you guys remember what that area looked like? It looked like this. So one of the things I want to do is see if Brian notices how clean it was, because it was disgusting, as you can see. I got to remind you guys that this is Wreck Bike Rebuild. It is my Patreon-funded motorcycle rebuild series where I take a salvaged motorcycle, and with my help from the people over on Patreon, we build it into a dope freaking motorcycle. And then we give it away to one of the fans of the series. But all the details of that and giving the motorcycle away and stuff like that can be found in the Patreon link down below. Oh yeah, we also give a brand new version of the bike away too. 2 bikes. If you want to know more about all that kind of stuff, you can check out the Patreon page. It's always the top link in the description. I know in the next 2 episodes, we're getting this bike cranked up. If you guys aren't familiar, if this is the first episode you've seen, this bike had frame damage, and we dropped the entire engine out, swapped the frame. You can actually see the frame over here. We're on episode 10. We've been doing a ton of work. Hadn't even got to the customization phase yet, but we're almost out of phase 1, which is getting the bike back running on the road. After we get the bike running, we are going to start the customization process, and y'all, it's gonna be dope. Brian should be here in a minute. Let's go. Also, fun fact, so that area was super hard to clean, but a grunge brush, shop towels, and I know we've talked about this in the episodes before, but y'all, this WD-40 Specialist degreaser, the shit cleans anything. Not a sponsor, not trying to push a product, but like, I just want to let you guys know when I find stuff that works really freaking good. That degreaser, if you're like cleaning metal stuff, oh my god, lifesaver. All right, I've got the garage lift cleaned. Oh, hey, that leg is weak. So I got the garage little lift cleaned. Check it out. Unsuspecting, right? I think that was about right there. Perfect. So now it looks just like it did, minus all the death grunge.
I spoke to my brother yesterday. He lives in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I don't even want to know how cold they have.
And he said that it's been like minus.
Everybody, guess who's back? Welcome back to Wreck Bike Rebuild, Brian.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Brian, I gotta admit, before you got here, I spent an hour cleaning this morning, and you didn't say anything, and it made me sad a little bit.
I actually was looking at how drippy it was, thinking, is this thing leaking?
So you thought something totally different. At least, you know what?
I thought it did look a little cleaner than it was, but I just saw like all the drippy in here, and I'm like, man, like we need to spray that off and make sure
Brian got
water leaking out of this thing.
What a mechanic of you. You're like, man, leaking, that's not good. And I'm over here like, is he gonna acknowledge me? All right, Mr. Motorcycle Mechanic and Magician is what that was. So it's been a couple weeks. How we
It
feel?
has.
How we feel about this beast?
I feel like I don't remember a damn thing about where this harness goes. But
Dun dun dun.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many places, right?
Exactly. You know.
So guys,
we have the manual and we have the routing and we have all that stuff, so we'll be able to walk ourselves through it, and kind of just the way everything is bent will kind of lend us a hand into how it's gonna go or where it's supposed to go.
it's like a puzzle. There's only a piece has to go in a certain spot.
Yes, and even like the way everything is bent, because it was pre-bent when it was put in here, the bends will kind of be like, this one goes this way, and that one goes that way.
So it's easier than a puzzle because a puzzle doesn't
Exactly.
So guys, our personal goal, this is episode 10. Our goal is to have the bike cranked up by episode 11, by the middle or the end or something. I feel semi-confident. I feel semi-confident because Brian feels like semi-confident, because let's be honest, if Brian wasn't here,
Yeah.
So Brian, what's step one? What's step one today?
Um,
Just kind of assess the wiring harness?
you know what? We're just going to dive right into rerouting and plugging everything in.
Gotcha. I know this up here is probably going to be not as bad, but this is our little baby shit show.
You know what? I really don't think this is as bad as you think it is.
Really?
You know, because like you said before, there's really only one way to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to go one way, and you can obviously see that we don't have stuff routed exactly right because there's so much tension on it, but
Yeah.
we'll figure out how everything gets wrapped back in there. And this really gets bolted to the inside of the fairing. So it's
just
not
kinda
really
behind-
going to be as pretty as you think it's going to be. We're not going to have it bolted onto anything when we're done. It's going to
Yeah.
still kind of be just down.
That's actually going to be there for a while because the fairings will be
Later.
very late episode.
We may have to just tie it off for a little bit.
You know what? There's a real pretty hole that we could put right
Yeah, a
there.
nice little bungee cord or something like that. And
Let's plug some shit in. Don on. I don't know if I can find any rock music, but I'm definitely gonna.
I have my phone. We could play some rock music.
No, Brian, because you're gonna have copyrighted rock music, and I can't use that. There we go. Nice. I was. Yes. Okay. I don't know. I had a feeling that was coming,
That
and then I
was
was like, "Is he gonna? Maybe we need it." Nope. All right. So this is the new piece. And
Right, that's about where it was, right? Now through the thing, and I gotta go look on the other side of the room.
Oh, you got to do the walk of shame.
Yeah, that's about right there. And do you happen to have any rubbing alcohol?
It's a good question. Rubbing alcohol being alcohol, just being the white kind of alcohol.
Yeah, just like clear what you would put on a boo-boo rubbing alcohol. You
I
know,
don't-
or maybe sometimes you get little alcohol pads that come with stuff with stickers on them.
I will assess with the wife and see if she does.
I'm
'Cause that's-
sure your wife has some rubbing alcohol in the house somewhere.
We'll find out.
All right. And here comes the rubbing alcohol.
Seems as if your assumptions are correct, Brian. My wife had rubbing alcohol. Thank God for women, right? What would we do?
I don't know, man. I always have alcohol, so drink
I assume you're just going to clean the surface of
Yes.
the rubber shit.
of the plastic shit where the rubber is going to stick to it.
Yeah. My words don't really mean anything.
I'm helping you out with your words.
Yeah, I appreciate That's what you're here for, Brian. You're the resident professional to be like,
Words.
Chase, you're totally wrong. It's literally plastic. It's not rubber. It's also a bolt, not a nut.
Yes. Have
Specific-
you squared that one away yet? Did my little analogy help you remember?
Well, see, Brian, here's the thing. I had it squared away, but then we went on Christmas break, and I've now forgotten everything like a basic child. So I do know that a nut is similar to a man, and a bolt is also similar to a man part. So that's how
So you remembered nothing. Is pretty much what you just said.
I remember everything, Brian.
Yes.
Everything. Watch. Okay? Yeah? Bolt.
Very good.
Nailed it. Just realized I didn't really update you guys. So our step one before we go all crazy harness stuff is to plug this giant plastic piece in, because it's larger and it has little clamps for the wiring harness. So that'll help us know where things are. Okay. Cue the music, cue the cinematic bars, and let's go. This is the service manual for the ZX-10. I know we keep saying all this shit about the service manual, but like, it is integral if you're gonna do some like serious work on your bike, right?
Look at this. In their drawing, they take the frame and they make it translucent so you can see how stuff gets routed behind the frame.
Oh, no shit.
Check that out. Another piece of harness that comes up underneath the cooling line, wraps to the outside of it, and then heads up. So
that's impressive.
thank you, Kawasaki. This is an extremely comprehensive manual, and I thank you for it.
All right.
Okay, so I found the wiring harness, but now I still have to find that little plastic cover.
Yeah, I mean, I can bend it, but I don't want to break it, you know?
Let's see. Hold on one second. Damn, shit like this pisses me off. Because I'm going to be really angry if we have to drop the motor to put this in.
Right.
Which we may have to do.
Boom, boom, boom.
But not take it out completely.
Yeah, well, okay, so there's a shining light of like,
You know.
not all the way.
Take out the two front motor mounts
Yep.
and the top rear one. And
And
just,
then just
lower
kinda
the engine
pivot it
down
down.
until we can get this in and then put it back up again.
That's not the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So the little plastic piece looks like we're gonna have to pivot the motor down. Not gonna take it all the way out. Remove the front bolts and this top one, and then kind of just pivot it down. Hopefully that gives us enough clearance to get it in
Get
there.
this stupid plastic cover in here.
Yes, the stupid effing plastic cover.
Yep.
All right, so we need to break these bolts off, right?
Not off, but loose, yes.
Well, yeah. Good point, Brian. I don't want to be breaking these bolts.
Yeah, I don't want you to be breaking any bolts off either.
Wait, hold on. Let me get a little.
There you go.
It makes I wish you understood how cool I feel when I do that random shit that you do, and I'm not even gonna lie. I do it because I watch you do it, and then I'm like,
When you have to break loose 300 bolts a day, you need to find a way to do it that's not going to tire you out.
am I taking this bolt all the way out? Because it's that weird thing where it's like that little, the thing in the thing.
The thing in the thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to loosen the bolt on this side first before you take that one out completely. We're actually going to loosen all of them before we take any of them out completely.
Gotcha. Are these in the opposite direction?
Well, now that you... No. It's regular.
Good Lord.
It's because you've loosened that one up so much now that there's a little bit of turning tension on it.
Ah. What a plan.
So I will actually teach you to do what I just did.
Okay.
If you're interested.
I don't like feeling like a little pansy bitch when I'm over here like, yeah, it's not going, Brian's over
And I
there
just
just...
walk over like, bink.
Yeah.
So when you're breaking hardware loose, it's about using your strongest point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to make sure that your ratchet is in a place where you can get the most power onto it.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, I'm fairly strong pulling upward.
Mm-hmm.
Some people feel better pushing downward. You all want to look at also where your hands are going to be. So if it does break free violently, you're not going to smash your hands into anything.
Good point.
So for me, I like to pull stuff upward when I break them free.
You ever had an issue with pulling upwards and tipping a bike or anything?
Well, I usually have my bike on a lift strap down, and
Gotcha.
you know what I mean. But that's something else that you have to take into consideration. If you're working on a bike on the side stand, you obviously can't pull upward on the downside of the bike because you're going to knock it off the side stand. But hopefully you're not loosening motor mounts on your bike while it's on the side stand. Loosen a couple of the spacers and take out the bolts that we need to take out, and then pivot the motor down.
That was a lot. I mean, that wasn't bad. That's 4 volts or 3 volts.
I just hate moving backwards.
Brian's like, I will not go back. All right, engine is pivoted down. So back to where we were.
I mean, I feel like that looks a lot more natural to the shape of the object, having it on top of the engine like that.
It can't possibly go inside the frame. It's way too wide.
You think the little clamps were holding the harness and like holding that in place?
I think these over here, these big ones on the sides, are zip tied in, and that's what's. See, there's one right here.
Yep.
So that goes there.
Oh, and it would have held the little head of the squid situation.
Right. And then when the motor comes up, I'm thinking it's going to fit back behind the frame, but we should probably put that zip tie on, and then there's one on the other side. Not the same exact type of anchor, but just the hole in here.
Yeah.
Just put a zip tie around through it.
Gotcha.
Gotta make some sort of progress, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what? I don't think that's how that goes. Looking at it, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Just doesn't look right.
I feel like it should go on like that, right? Like it should, like this should be like that.
Facing out.
Like the tire has obviously like that.
Yep.
So it needs to go like this somehow.
That's exactly how it needs to go. I just found a picture of it in the manual. That's a good job, Chase.
I'm gonna go back to my little corner over here where I'm just like picking up little objects off.
That's good though. You figured it out without having to look at a picture about it. You just found your way by you leave your pliers on the wall.
You know what, Brian? I like to call it deductive reasoning.
Yeah.
Or some other fancy term that I can't spell. Good news, everybody. Brian found a diagnostic diagram of the piece, which is right there. Wait, how the hell? So wait, do we need to put the engine
back in?
Yeah. Wait, so we pivoted it down
to figure out that we had it on the wrong way.
Fumbled our fingers around like trying to place it into there, and this whole time. That's a good example of what happens when you're working on a bike. That you get to a point where it should be easy, and you just waste a lot of time and do it the wrong way.
Because you're not paying attention to how you take things apart.
That guy. So yeah, it's normal. It's what happens. Working on bikes, nothing new. We're gonna put the engine back where it was now.
All right, we need to strap down the back of the bike.
Okay. Like that.
That's how it goes?
Yep, like that.
Jesus, man. I mean, that makes sense, but God.
And then if you could, sir, just as a placeholder, can we get one of our many bolts?
Yeah.
There to hold this thing in place while we continue to work.
You know what? Let's see if
That'll do it. I'm just gonna stick it like that. That's fine.
that's probably exactly how it was anyway, you know? Obviously.
Well, maybe a little bit different.
Only slightly.
So when you see on your harness little pieces of white tape,
Yeah.
this is a tie-off point.
As in like a zip tie
Mhm.
off point? Oh,
Whether,
interesting.
whether it's a zip tie or whether it's one of these reusable bendable fasteners that they have on things, or whether it's a plastic clip like this, a lot of times when they put that little white strip there, that means this is where the zip tie goes, or this is where the tie point is.
So guys, that's here's a better shot of that piece.
Click, and that thing just popped into place. You heard it?
Oh, that's what the little nipple was for?
The little nipple was like just snapped into place. So this side is secure.
Yeah, I mean, look how flush that shit is.
Yeah.
Of course, that's where it's supposed to be. Dang.
So these things are like those little plastic rivets where the centers get pushed in.
Mm-hmm.
So you wrap it around the cable and you start it, you slide it in the hole and you push it down and it snaps into place and it gets bigger on the other side, doesn't fall out.
Gotcha.
So these things are kind of cool, but they're just really, really fiddly.
Fragile.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that goes like that.
Boom. Easy
So at least
enough.
I know that that wire is exactly where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, like there's no doubt that that's like it can't go anywhere else than that.
Yep.
Boom.
All right. Literally start plugging harness into components. I mean,
Should we check the spark plugs? As a mechanic, what's your professional?
how many miles are on this thing? It's got like 7,000 miles on it.
Does it have that many?
I thought that's what it was.
Okay, let's use this as an example. Let's check the spark plugs. You can let us know what we're looking for.
Okay.
And then that way, I'll go ahead and get the spark plugs ordered. And then next episode. Oh, if we need them.
If we need
good
them.
point.
If we don't need them, we don't need them. Because they're usually on here pretty good, and these are definitely on here good.
Need like needle nose pliers or something?
No. They're kind of brittle.
Oh,
And
so
they're-
you don't want
They're really expensive.
Oh. Yeah, let's not break
you know,
those.
each one of these is well over $100. Yeah. So, I mean, this is what makes the spark. This is your coil. There's 4 individual coils on this machine, so it's the spark plug cap and the coil all in one piece.
That is expensive.
You know, it's like having to buy it is buying a new coil.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, nice. Okay, so this is way more than just like the little plastic piece that I thought it was.
Oh, yeah. No. That's like...
I thought you were literally going to like pop a cap off.
that thing takes probably 60 volts and turns it into like 40,000, 35,000 volts.
Jesus.
And then that's what makes your spark and burns off the fuel in the cylinder. I'm looking for a spark plug socket. Do you have a spark plug socket?
I don't know if I
like
do.
has like it fits a wrench on the bottom type of thing.
I don't think.
Where's the rest of your standard tools? Or you have like a whole bunch of standard stuff?
Yep, at the bottom.
Yeah. As soon as I say you don't need an 18 millimeter for this,
And then that's precisely what we need.
and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what
Couldn't you use a regular socket?
you can. But then you can't get the spark plug out of the hole. You have to use a magnet.
Oh.
Because the spark plug socket's got like a little rubber boot in it.
Yeah.
No way. Just as I was talking about, you probably won't run into a 14 millimeter. That's actually the 14. I should have known that this bike would have it.
Yeah.
You know, it is a brand new 1000cc super sport bike. So, do you have a magnet on a stick?
I think you've asked me that before, and I don't. I have chopsticks.
That's wonderful. I'll know where to go when I'm eating Chinese and Japanese food.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're ever having sushi, Brian, just think of my garage. Hey, go to Chase's place.
Chopsticks. I can get some there.
Uh-oh. I think we've created a harder issue for
We
us.
created a monster.
Yep. What have we done?
So there's the needle nose I had to use to.
Oh, the little baby ones. Got it.
Okay. So, in my opinion, this is, for the most part, a perfect spark plug.
Okay. So this one's perfect. So why is this one perfect?
Maybe a tiny bit on the rich side,
Okay.
but this electrode down here, when they're brand spanking new, is like bone white. They're like
Okay.
white. So when your bike is really lean, they stay white.
Yeah.
When your bike is really rich, they turn black.
Yep.
So this is that in the middle of the white and black, you get this just touch of brown.
Okay.
Can you see it down in there? It's kind of, that nice touch of brown is really, really nice.
Oh, okay. So that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Then.
And this is a little tiny bit on the dark side,
Yeah.
but I'd much rather see it like this than stark white.
Is that a Star Wars joke?
No.
Okay, cool. I saw Star Wars, the new one.
I haven't seen it yet. Don't say anything. This tells you for sure that the bike was tuned properly.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
So that means our engine was treated by somebody that knows what they're doing.
Somebody tuned it to make power for sure.
There you go.
I'd probably put new ones in at this point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, okay, the bike runs good. They're starting to get a little dark. Let's drop some new ones in.
Cool. So next episode, we'll have new spark plugs.
Yep.
And how long does the spark plug last?
Totally depends on how well your machine is running.
Oh, okay.
If your bike is running well, and obviously depending on the machine, some spark plugs will last 15, 18, 20,000 miles.
Gotcha.
Some spark plugs will last 4.
Oh.
So it really depends on how well it's running.
What did you just say?
So we're at the point now where shit just gets plugged in, and we'll have the rest of this harness plugged in about 15 minutes. All right, Chase, you ready to plug all this shit in or what?
Yeah, I am.
Right.
I zoomed in the wrong way.
Grab the dielectric grease and let's get plugging shit in. You're trying to learn, right?
I didn't have the camera on, but Brian said that he's gonna make me plug everything in because I unplugged everything.
Not
So
that grease, the electrical grease.
I didn't even grab the right grease. This is gonna be a great time. Alright guys, so we were plugging in everything up here. We lifted this little plastic thing. We were trying to figure out where this guy gets plugged into and that white one in there. Found out that
The secondary air injection system is missing, which is fairly common for people to do to a super sport bike, but there's supposed to be a block-off plate here, which I'm guessing they took with them because they were probably pretty.
Yeah. Gotcha. So we'll have to get block off plates that go into there. And you were saying exhaust fumes will come out
Right,
of.
I don't know if you can get it on camera,
I could probably get this one.
the little holes that are in there.
Yep, I can see them.
Okay, so those holes are a direct pipeline to the exhaust manifold, or to the cylinder head, right where the exhaust comes out.
Gotcha.
And that system feeds fresh air into the exhaust system to help burn off any unburnt fuel in the catalytic converter. So it's an emissions thing to cut down on emissions gases, but it's not great for tunability.
So all they'll be is like little
Just little
plastic little
covers,
squares
and
that
they'll
just pop on
have.
top.
You'll have to get the hardware for them too if they don't come with hardware. We
Gotcha.
might have enough spare hardware, but
Yeah.
that might be a specialty length because the bolts are going to be pretty short.
Okay.
So you may want to just get the hardware to go with it, but we need to put those on because if you don't at least have covers on it, then those exhaust gases that the hole is directly to the exhaust will back up and come out here and probably wind up melting this little rubber thing down
Jeez.
and then melting the bottom of the airbox down and stuff like that. Right, we can't button all this stuff up anyway,
Yeah.
so it's not a big deal right now that we just move on plugging in the rest of the
That's actually a
stuff.
good thing that we went through and unplugged everything because we wouldn't have even.
Found that was missing because this
Yeah.
rubber cover was on the motor the whole time.
Yeah.
We never took it off, so.
Now
Because
we
if
know.
you fired this thing up, it probably would have started a fire.
That's terrifying.
Yeah,
That
that's
is-
kind of weird.
Yeah.
So this stuff gets plugged into the top of the airbox, so we don't need that right now. So it's really just the shit that goes in across the bottom into the injectors.
You guys on the camera are gonna have to forgive me. There's no way for me to show you this and do it at the same time, and it's already a really tight fit. So.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
nice and tidy.
Yep. Now, these will go
Fuel.
on the airbox.
This one goes on the airbox, and this one goes on the gas tank.
Got it. Okay.
So, these are the ones that hook onto these two posts right here, but this is the gear position sensor. Click. And then the other one is going to be the side stand switch.
Okay,
Which the side stand is still over there. Let's just verify with the plug.
Just to be clear, everybody, these two plugs were poked up here. So Brian has routed them correctly down through the frame where they're supposed to pop out.
And then here's the side stand switch plug that matches the other one that's over there.
That's the side stand switch, and that goes into this guy, which, as you can tell, they look the same.
Now the fun part is going to be routing this one. Goes all the way up to that white plug in the front.
Oh, fun. So now,
So we know where the rest of this stuff gets plugged in, right?
yeah, airbox.
So we're not ready to put the airbox on yet. So we have these damaged engine covers that we could work on. We could reassemble the throttle and route the throttle cable.
So what we're gonna do is over there's a giant pile of parts, and we have these engine covers that are all ground down. We have one on this side. I don't think we got that big one because we don't need it. And we've got this guy. We're gonna go ahead and replace those because the engine is totally dry. Is dry the term you use for engines?
Yeah.
There's no liquid in the engine, there's no oil and all that kind of stuff. So while the engine is like that, we're gonna go ahead and replace those, because otherwise, if we went through this entire process and then I did those later, I'd have to do an oil change, and we ain't gonna waste money or oil. So we're gonna do engine covers now, these little guys. We even got the little,
It's a good thing.
alrighty. Look at Brian already got me freaking tools and shit.
You have a razor blade?
A
Like
razor blade?
A brand new one of these, not in the knife?
No. Probably not.
Yes, it's something. You got all the bolts out. It's just on there very good. There are going to be some dowel pins that are going to make it
Come out straight.
yes, perfectly straight. So kind of just give it a little wiggle as you pull.
Yep, it came off.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go.
Is this a piece of rubber that we're gonna have to pop out?
Yes.
Oh, Christ. That's gonna suck.
No, it doesn't stay in the cover. It stays on the wires.
Oh, okay. See, that I saw this as one piece of metal.
Gotcha.
That makes
And we're not
sense.
saving that gasket, so you really just need to rip the gasket right here so this comes out.
Ah, I see. God, dude, I was like, how the f are we gonna do
There's a
that?
tool you need to remove the picket.
Good Lord.
I know you have silicone.
Are these reverse threaded?
No.
Second question: are they put on with a torque wrench?
We're probably Loctite.
Yep. No shit on that one. Good night.
Hey, you have a Ducati stator cover puller in here.
Yes. So, strategy for taking these out?
Have you not got them out yet?
Dude, no.
All right, ready? That's because you're going tighter instead of looser. That's tighter instead of looser.
Wait, what?
That definitely helps in taking stuff out, is if you turn it in the right direction.
See, I tried doing that and it wouldn't go.
Make sure you got it in there all the way.
Yeah, because... Oh, fuck
Did
me.
you just strip it? Yep. You just stripped it. All right, let me see if I can get it out before we have to drill it off.
Oh, yeah, there you go, Brian. All right, tapping out. Fuck me. Oh, Brian. Welcome to season 1 of Wreck Bike Rebuild.
Where Chase breaks things on TV.
Yeah, on the
camera.
internet, which is worse. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, you destroyed that thing.
God.
So you really don't have an extractor kit either, do you?
But no. Yeah. We got everything. We can get it out.
Oh, I don't want to have to...
But I just like it sucks because now we're gonna have to. I have to order the bolt to get another one and all that kind of shit.
How about a pair of vice grips?
That I can also.
Yep, pooch is screwed.
Alright, so what's that mean?
Now that means I need a drill bit. So you have a drill chuck for this, right?
Yeah.
And drill bits for this, right?
Yep.
You saw it.
Where did that thing come from?
Strip the bolt.
Okay, so I need the little drill chuck and some drill bits, and I will fix Chase's mistake.
And then Chase will order another bolt and hopefully we'll have it in for next.
It'll give you a reason to get out of the house.
I don't have super slow motion on this camera, so. And here with Wreck Bike Rebuild, gonna show everybody how to bike stuff. Sponsored by Chase's Incompetence. Alright, I'm gonna be on cameraman duty and just make sure you guys can see exactly what Brian does in case you're as big of a idiot as me and you have to do what Brian's doing.
Just to let you guys know, you really never ever want to be holding the piece that you're drilling into. But in this particular situation, it's kind of hard to disconnect this thing from the bike to drill it off of the bike. So we're just going to have to be very extra special careful that if you don't break the drill bit and stab yourself in the wrist like I did with my finger about a year ago. So,
Good words to the wise.
Don't try this at home. That's the words I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I did mention earlier that I was really good at extracting bolts, right? There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
You know, this shit like this happens. I'm getting tired of that shit.
Right. What the hell is left on it?
Just enough.
Have you noticed a theme today of things that shouldn't be a big deal that have just become a shit show?
Yes.
What in the is happening?
This is a stubborn mother.
Heard.
Usually after drilling it in that much vibration, they kind of just crack loose, but... And it's just not cutting anything anymore.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Jesus Christ! Come off already! Let go, please. There it is.
Jesus.
Now we must very thoroughly clean that sensor.
I'm gonna get to cleaning a sensor so that I don't cuss too much more because bleeping it's not gonna make me really happy. All right. So kids, what did we learn?
Make sure your tool is in the hole all the way before turning.
Yep.
There's a stool on that side, right? You gotta do the cover on the other side. Don't break anything.
Yep. All right. So I'm not even sad about the shade that you give me. I like it. So guys, we're gonna not do this side now because I'm gonna get one of those bolts. So we're just gonna leave that, put it in a pause, and
do the other side.
We'll do that next episode. It's not gonna happen this episode. Let's go to the other side where things aren't.
The champions of making more work for ourselves.
This whole episode, dude. We have made all the majority of the hard work we've had to do this episode has been our own fault. Also, I want to point out that Brian's like, I'm not leaving you alone now.
I'm just going to make sure that we're good here. Because there are going to be some more of those bolts on the inside of this cover.
Yeah.
And they'll be just as difficult, if not more difficult, to get off than the one that you just destroyed.
Brian's like, you've lost your privileges of watch.
At least I didn't take the tools away.
That's true. You know, you're still letting me hold stuff. I gotta appreciate at least that. Thank you, sir. Is it going in the right direction?
I don't know.
I think it is. We'll find out real quick.
Hurt snap!
Dude, you can't be making jokes like that because that shit would happen to me. I would be the guy that would be like, right? No, I would be like, what's? Oh, and it would just be wiggling. I'd be like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Or
You all look like they're the same length.
alrighty.
All right, ready?
We have another thing up there.
Don't worry about that for now. Now listen. There's a really big magnet behind that one.
Oh, is that still gonna?
So, if you go to pull it off and it doesn't come off and you release pressure, it's going to suck itself back on.
Don't let my fingers get
Do
crushed.
not let your fingers get pinched in that cover.
Noted. Okay.
There's usually like those little nipples that you were holding on to are
Yeah.
points that you're supposed to pry on the cover. So, there should be one someplace up here, right
Yeah,
here.
there's. Wait.
There you go. You got it.
Interesting. Okay.
Do you want
Alright.
to do those, or are you feeling confident enough to try it again?
No, I want to do these because, like, the whole point of this series is for me to get to the point where I don't have to have you here.
Okay.
And the only way that's gonna happen
If you do.
is if my stupid ass, like, does it myself. There's
Well,
only,
yeah, you don't want to not put dowel pins back in again.
Oh, but there's only two.
There's only two. Yeah, and there's not like bolts go through them where they could go in multiple places. There's only.
Yeah. Okay. So now what do we do?
Clean the gasket surface.
Got it. Do you want to? We don't have the stuff here to do that little zzz thing you did last time on the monster.
No.
So what's the best strategy to clean the gasket surface?
Razor blade.
Okay. And do we have one of those?
I don't know. You're asking me. This is your garage.
Oh, I thought you. What did you find over there?
It was your knife, your box cutter that you had. If you have another box cutter knife, blade.
Yeah. Okay. And if we don't have one of those?
Sandpaper? Yeah, that would probably do it.
Is that too thick or?
That's pretty coarse, but as long as you're not really rough with it,
Yeah. So
it should
just
be all right.
kind of.
See how it goes.
All right. Now.
Let me put that thing back in there. And you're going to need some red Loctite. And I'm going to look up your torque specs.
All right. Brian is just making sure that his job here is to make sure I don't screw up most things. That's what we got Brian here for. About put the brand new freaking engine cover on the metal and scratched it. I have a long way to go and a short time to get there.
So are you the bandit or snowman?
I don't know. I feel like I would have to be. I'm not qualified to be Bandit. Like, I'm not even gonna lie about it.
So before we put this new engine cover on, Brian is looking up the torque specs for the nuts and bolts. Bolts only, not nuts.
No, it's just bolts.
You like how I corrected myself though before it got too far?
You tried. You should try.
I'm on the uphill right now. And then once he finds those out, we'll get this piece back on. And yeah, and I will still be pissed off about the earlier incident.
89 inch-pounds.
Pretty cool looking little machine going on here, guys.
We take our shit seriously here at Wreck Bike Rebuild.
I do take serious shits.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks. Me.
You kind of stepped in that one, didn't you?
He's got. Oh, do you guys hear this? Oh my god. We've had a lot of F-bombs in this episode, and I apologize.
Don't apologize. This show's not for kids.
No, that's one of your things. Is like, don't apologize. Oh god, I'm glad I could laugh in this episode.
At least a little bit.
Well, at least a little bit. It's like laughs of tears is what it is.
I don't know if I should let this much of my personality out on camera.
I think you are going to be happy you did, because you're going to be watching this and you're going to laugh at yourself. And those are the best times.
So stator back in the cover.
Boom.
So you got your red Loctite. Is that red or blue?
Got red.
Okay, so that's your red Loctite.
Yep.
I already got your torque wrench right here set up to the proper foot poundage.
All right.
Or inch poundage, I should say.
Okay. So...
Now give that thing a twist to the right.
God, it is incredible what bolts feel like when you use a tap and die set.
Feel. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Another feel situation.
They just turn in.
Yeah.
That's how they should go in.
It's just like totally freaking normal.
I'm going to give this to you now.
Okay.
So you're going to work that rubber thing in and drop the cover on.
You have to say it so fast and aggressive.
Well, you'll see that that's exactly how it goes on, is fast and aggressive. Because you'll fit that thing in, you'll turn it over, you go to line it up, and it's going to yank it out of your hands. Thunk! Right to the motor. I'm going to move this over so it can see better.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait.
Yep, don't worry about lining it up. It's going to go. There it is.
Shit.
Now just turn it and give it a little wiggle. Is it still in its groove?
Yeah, it is. Damn, it really is like...
It'll take the tips of your fingers right off.
Yeah, that's why I started getting
terrified. And then now it's resting on the edge of the dowel pins.
Yep,
So now you're just going to want to shake it on until it kind of...
Yeah, it's on there. So no Loctite here.
Didn't show any on the bolts, so...
Yeah, I mean the bolts are freaking clean.
Get them all finger tight. Or just started, not finger tight, but started.
Yeah, and then just...
Yep, and then zip them all on and then go back and torque everything into place. Do you need an extension? You should be able to reach it.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Did you put it on backwards?
Brian, what the f*** is happening?
That was pretty funny.
Yo, I don't even know. I got no excuses. I can't even talk myself out of that one. Just
click. Oh, look at you with the triple clicking.
cool.
Good job, Chase.
I only get screwed up a little bit.
See, you redeemed yourself.
I don't know about that. So that one's on, good, looking great. We need a bolt for the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't put any liquids in.
But we can't put any liquids
Oil.
in anyway.
Yeah. All right, so that was the long, drawn-out freaking put the covers back on, and the job's only half done.
So
Screw
that
me.
plug wasn't for the side stand. That plug was for the quick shifter. That wire that I went through all that trouble to plug in up front doesn't go there. It goes in here. Isn't that sweet? Perfect. All right, we need the hardware for this.
All right, I'm gonna put this piece of shit down.
All right, guys, so next up on the docket is putting on the side stand. And we need a torque wrench. Boom.
You got that wire rerouted easier?
Yeah, look at that. It's already done.
Nice.
Now the shield won't flop around under either.
All right, man, I'm safe as
I like the little
Oh, God, I can't itch my nose.
Would you like bump?
I did. Ah, okay, got it. I'm gonna work on this. Wait, can you do this? All right, so kickstand is now routed up through here. Up in here? Is this where it's plugged in?
Yep, that's it right there.
Awesome.
Harnesses run.
So the only thing left with the harness is we're gonna put the airbox back on and just do a little plugs. And there's a couple plugs for the gas tank.
And then the
But I mean,
and then the stuff for the brakes on the other side that has to come up and plug in.
yep, we still got to get the block off plates for up here. All right, Brian. So, how you feel? How you feel?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we had a few more speed bumps today than
Yeah, that's all right. But speed bumps happen when you're
Yeah.
doing something to this extent. You're bound to run into something.
I mean, this shit's real. You know, we don't like pre-plan out what we're gonna do, and we
just have
don't
at
like do it ahead of time and then undo it. Like we're literally doing
figuring
the
it out
process.
as it goes along. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, shit like that happens. We're gonna be pushing it to get the bike cranked up. End of episode 11. I think that's a stretch goal, but
We're really not that far away.
really,
We're really
it just seems like that to
Yeah.
me, not knowing.
I mean, it's like we'll do the secondary air block offs,
Yeah.
and then the air box can go back on, and the rest of the shit can get plugged into it.
Yeah.
And then it's the exhaust,
Which is
and the
shouldn't be
radiator.
that big of a deal. The radiator is probably gonna pain in the ass.
Radiator's really not as hard as you would think it would be.
Okay.
It's really not. And then obviously this cover's got to go on.
No.
Battery needs to go in. Fuel tank needs to go on, at least loosely, if anything.
Yeah, we'll be using the old fuel tank to just because we want to get the bike to a crank
Because
up
the pump
position.
is already in it and all that
Yep,
stuff. So.
absolutely.
So we'll just drop the tank on, plug everything in, fire up the system, check to see if there's any check engine codes for anything that we have or have not plugged in, because there's still some stuff up here that we're not gonna plug in.
Yeah. Headlights and whatnot.
Right. So you may get an error code, you may not, depending on what is plugged and unplugged. And there's still some wires over here that need to get plugged in and shit like that. And turn the key.
It's gonna be a packed episode.
See what happens.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of episode 10 of Wreck Bike Rebuild. A few speed bumps, no big deal. It is what it is. We're pushing to get the bike cranked up in episode 11, so make sure to check back in. Hopefully next week we will be able to get that episode out. If not, we'll just skip a week and be back on the next Tuesday. If you guys want to check out more information about the series, how we run this thing, and all the information about giving the bike away to a fan and then getting a brand new bike, it's a lot of awesome stuff that we get to do with this series. If you want to check that out, top link in the description takes you to the Patreon page. I am Chase. That is Brian, whatever you want to call him. We will see you guys on next week, episode 11, Wreck Bike Rebuild. You guys go out there and ride positive. We'll see you then. Bye.